Make your selections. Give them help. Okay, I hear a lull in the room, so that suggests that perhaps most of you have chosen your 3 cards. Which group would like to tell us what you've chosen and just briefly what prompted you to choose that?
For our...
Okay, so can we have your attention now?
For our green card, we chose attune their own attention by attending to reduced effort, because we felt that even though we're not experts at that,
you're learning to do less.
we've got the message that... Hello? Can you hear me now?
Okay, tell them again. They weren't even listening, really.
You weren't listening. Green card, attune their own attention by attending to reducing effort. So we've got the message that effort is something we're trying to avoid, and then that's a good measure of whether we're getting the most out of our ATM, but we're not saying we're experts at that yet.
Great, okay, let's pop that one on the green.
Our orange card, amber, is alter self-organisation appropriately, e.g. patterns of thinking, posture, breathing, gaze, in order to heighten the client's sensitivity. So we've done some of that. We've understood that it's important to alter our own organisation in order to enhance the client's organisation, but we feel like we'd like a bit more on that topic, a bit more experience. And the red one that we didn't really feel we had a clue about yet was discuss and describe to others what her thinking was during functional integration or awareness through movement lesson.
Excellent.
Basically, be able to explain to someone else what you were doing and why you were doing it during an FI or an ATM. Not there yet.
Anyone got that yet? Stephanie? Still going. Yeah, great. Okay, thanks. Pass the box.
Which is this one, the red one?
That's the green one.
That's green. The first one, which is the green one, is adjust their own organisation relative to the capacity to access power through the pelvis. That doesn't need explaining, does it? I understand it now. I thought I had it pretty good. I can even hear myself. So adjust their own organisation relative to the capacity to access power through the pelvis. Oh, I've understood that now. When I looked at it through Zoen's lecture on, you had the tape putting all over the body, I understood that everything actually overlapped over the pelvis. So that is quite a central point for a lot of muscles.
Great.
So yeah, that was good, that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Amber, adjust their own organisation relative to reversibility. Now, we sort of wanted to bring this to the class because this is a real red biro one in the notebook. The reversibility is a thing that Moshe keeps talking about. Our movement needs to be reversible. So this is more of a revision thing on Amber that's going to have to be continually looked at.
Great, thank you.
And this is the red one, and it's similar to what Doris's was. Recognise that as one comes to contact with a client, a single system is formed. Well, we've touched on things, but we really haven't got our head around exactly what we're doing with a client. So that's, I'm happy we're touched on it, but there's a bit to go.
Great. There's plenty of time to get into that one. Good.
We have the green know that improving an aspect of a system is likely to influence the whole.
Great.
Note that improving an aspect of a system is likely to influence the whole.
Yep.
The whole.
You mess with any part, it affects the whole.
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
We think or we feel we got it.
You've got that one. Great.
The red biro moment is, the red biro moment is adjust their own organisation relative to level of resistance. And that could relate to ourselves as well as the client.
Yes.
So that,
Great. That sounds like a fun one to explore.
And Philippa has to read mine because I haven't got my glasses on.
recognise, so this is the red one, recognise when they are more or less efficiently organised as a reflected? Yeah, you can. I remembered it. Yeah, oh, you do. Okay. Recognise when they are more or less efficiently organised as reflected by the behaviour and or responses of the client.
Plenty of time to get that one too. Cool. Okay.
So our three, one with the green light, is alter self-organisation appropriately in order to more accurately discern differences. And it gives examples such as muscular tone, directional preference, or ease of movement. So we think we've had lots of practice with that and
Okay.
not perfect at it, but getting it. So that's our green. The orange one is about altering self-organisation appropriately in order to heighten their own sensory acuity. So conceptually, understand what it's about. Whether it always happens, that's another thing. Improvement.
So how do you make yourself more sensitive?
Improvement
what can you
needed.
adjust?
Yes.
Right.
And one that's really needs work is adjust their own organisation relative to maintaining moments of inertia. Sorry, I better read that one again. Adjust their own organisation relative to minimising moments of inertia. And the examples that we talked about were that there might be moments of inertia working with the client, but they're still, we don't exactly know how to, don't feel that we've got that under wraps, and same with yourself.
Right. Okay. Now, when I looked at it,
Yep.
and I'm not going to look at it again because I don't know whether you read it differently from me. I read in relation to moment of inertia, and I thought, yeah, that's a term that's in physics, and we probably do talk about it sometime, but I've got no idea what it means. So I would have put it in the red one as well.
Guys, ready?
Well, we could. I actually like Julie's interpretation that we all kind of come up against those places where we think it's too hard, can't do it, don't want to. Each morning when I drive out the gate, I think, don't want to.
Except when training.
Except when you're seeing us. Okay, so our green one, know how attending to self refines sensing ability. And you're going to do orange?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Our amber one is an abilities one. Adjust their own organisation relative to maintaining readiness to move in any direction. So we've talked about it.
Just say that one again.
Adjust their own organisation relative to maintaining readiness to move in any direction.
Great.
So I feel like we've talked about
We've
it.
talked about it. Yep.
But actually,
We know what's
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, works in progress.
Fantastic. Okay.
Okay, and the red one was an ability card. Adjust their own organisation relative to balance, equilibrium, and maintaining proportional distribution of tonus.
This next? Oh, come on, I want to throw it.
Yeah, go on, hurl it up at that lot.
We have few shades of green, and we chosen one which is really green. It just their organization relative to their own skeletal support.
Sorry.
It's just their own organization relative to their own skeletal support.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Just very, very slightly. I know they have been funny sometimes, but anyway, thank you. That was your green one. Okay.
Our amber one is have an internalized reference for the principles and concepts of the Feldenkrais method. So we think we've got quite a few of those, but not necessarily all.
Okay.
Do you want to wait for the red?
I'll come back.
No. Okay.
I've only got two hands.
Get balance one on your head, Jenny. Our third is that Feldenkrais practitioners know the effect of contact that is supportive, non-invasive and non-corrective. And I think, like others have said, we understand the idea of that and we've had a bit of practice. But certainly if it was I know the effect, then I would say that's still something that I need a lot of work on.
Okay. So, we'll feel it at that one.
I'll go green. No, I don't. Our green one was that we've got the idea pretty well that we recognise that human beings self-organising. So that's our green one.
We actually had an assortment of cards that was very much amber or green, so we found it difficult even to find. So we've touched on most of these things, but obviously there's more work to be done on a lot of things. So our amber was know their own habits of attention and action.
Good.
So clearly there's more to go. Yep. And red was communicate effectively, verbally and non-verbally, use voice, language, body, presentation and presence in relation to the clients to encourage a supportive environment for learning. So obviously we've touched on a few of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly there's more to go.
Yeah, there's a little. Okay, who's the group over here? Hang on. Whoops.
Green. Oh, am I reading the green? Okay.
Feldenkrais practitioners are able to attune their own attention by attending to adjusting breathing. We understand that.
Go.
Oh, okay, I'm doing. Yellow was, and we want to work on is adjust their own organization relative to timing and pacing. So, what was that?
Particularly for giving ATM instructions.
For me, it was pacing and timing of myself when I'm doing something that's not that comfortable or not within my range.
So these have been written in relation to our practice in the Feldenkrais method, but we know that the Feldenkrais method is about how we live ourselves in our lives. So many of these you could see as mirrors or metaphors or suggestions for things we might want to practice elsewhere as well.
And probably I read is Feldenkrais practitioners are able to read these cards, but understand them and understand them. I think we said also self-organization appropriately, e.g. patterns of thinking, postures and action, breathing, gaze, in order to mesh their own movements with the easiest directions in which the client moves.
Great. There's time for that one too. Cool. Okay. practitioners, did you have anything that stood out as being of interest to practice over the coming weeks? Whoops.
One is learning to catch the
Microphone,
dice, the microphone, yeah. So I think we felt we were pretty competent with adjusting our own organisation relative to staying within the range of possibility needs most of the time. But the Amber was knowing how the use of voice, word choice, imagery, body presentation and presence can encourage a supportive environment for learning would be Amber. There's so much going on there that it's still, yeah. And did you want to say the last one? No. Okay. And adjust their own organisation relative to accurate orientation. Well, it's just something I personally have difficulty with. So.
Great. Thank you very much. So, we've got some clues as to what should be in the homework. You may also, as you looked at those cards or as you heard people talking about them, have thought, yeah, that's something that I'm a bit curious about. And so maybe there's something you can take either from here or from your pile that you think that would be a theme that I'd just like to hold on to lightly and play with over the coming weeks and see what kind of information can I gather in to fill in the space. Cool.